And now I guess we'll kind of go through the Pledge of Allegiance. You can say it to yourself, or I'll say it out loud, and then we'll kind of go from there. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the
of the United
States of America,
States,
and to the republic that stands,
for which it stands,
one nation,
under God,
liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Sorry.
there you go.
We need to approve the agenda with the addition of 4.4, a longevity performance bonus for the superintendent. With that being added at 4.4, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, Wendell Hall,
Chair,
make a
Dr.
motion to the agenda.
Sheila Porter, second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Dr.
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Porter?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, motion carries. Just for the public, we're having to do a roll call, vote on all our motions because we're doing it remotely. And so the state requires that we do it all with a roll call vote. So I just want everybody to understand that. Okay. First on the agenda is regarding acceptance of the agenda. Consideration of the minutes from the February 24th board meeting. And
Mr. Chairman, this is Wendell Hall. I make a motion that we accept the minutes on February 24, 26, 2020 regular sessions.
Sheila Porter, second.
you're probably moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Dr. Shannon?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Porter?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next is student high achievement, 3.1. Ms. Ward, this is a COVID-19 update.
Chairman Shields, board members, and Dr. Wright, I presented, just for information, an update, a one-page update on the remote learning, grading and promotion, and professional development that we have been undertaking since the beginning of the COVID-19 incident. Are there any questions or?
Are there any questions about the update from Ms. Ward?
I don't have any questions about this document, Mr. Chairman, Wendell Hall. And maybe I need to wait later, but any discussion about Jumpstart? Any?
We have begun, Mr. Hall, to look at what the information is that's been provided to us. In combination, today we had a DPI webinar to talk about what kind of curriculum, what it would look like, but there are no definite plans right at this moment.
Okay, but we are going to have a jump start, to your knowledge. Some of the programs.
Yes, sir.
I think it's 3 to 4 weeks, or 3 to 5 weeks, or something like that. Is that because of the lateness of DPI getting some information out to the LEAs?
He's asking the reason we're not don't.
Yes, sir. That's what it is. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I mean, June is right around the corner.
Yes, sir.
July is the next. We open school August 17th. First day of school for kids is August 17th. There's not a whole lot of time left in there. I don't know what, I'll ask that question Thursday. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I didn't mean to answer for you, Mrs. Ward. That's what's going on.
But I also think our staff's gonna need some help too, getting back in the swing of things before we open back up school too, I think, just because it's just a different time, and so I think all that stuff's gonna have to be discussed and talked about, I think.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll find out, but, I mean, it's mighty, any kind of way, I'm just, have we thought about opening school in it, Mr. Superintendent?
Yes, sir. I figured that question would come up.
Sure.
Let me just say, overarching, we are looking at it and planning, but I want to say what I've been saying in the meetings that we've had. First of all, it is my personal belief, and professional, but I don't always get what I want professionally. That we need to have a position that kids do not need to come back to school until we can do it without social distancing. That's my personal opinion. However, in the climate that we're faced, obviously we have to look at reentry, and there are several options that people are looking at, such as A day, B days, where you have half students come one day, half students come another day. Afternoon, so some students come in the morning. There's a 3-day, 2-day schedule, alternating weeks that people are looking at. But all of these options, I mean, we can go on and on. All of these options are going to require looking at additional personnel and or financial commitments because of the stresses and strains that we have to do regarding loading buses, regarding using buses, regarding bus drivers. Some of our bus drivers are part-time employees or retired employees. And now instead of driving 2 hours a day, we might need them to drive 4. So there's just a lot of things to look at in terms of that. And to be quite honest, we're not getting any clear direction on that from State Superintendent's Office or DPI, in my personal opinion. And what we're going to do here, starting next week, I want to begin having local meetings to at least address reentry from our standpoint. And in those meetings, I want to have people from the Department of Health and Human Services in Hertford County and EMS, because I believe that we've got to take the perspective of the health professionals, if we can get it, to help guide what we do. Because to be honest with everyone, and I'm glad I've got this forum to make this statement, we always talk about safety being the most important part of leadership and what we do. If we're asking children to come back to school ahead of being clear of social distancing, I don't know that we are being as safe with working with them as we can, because there is nothing about school for the hundreds of years that schooling has been in existence that lends itself to social distancing. Nothing that we do and have done in school is the norm of social distancing. So we're going to think it through. We're going to have a plan. Our plan will be as good as any you'll find, but it is going to take some time, because something as simple as loading a school bus, for instance, first person on is probably gonna have to go to the back. We're gonna have to number seats. We're gonna have to skip seats. And the bottom line is, buses that we now might have a capacity of 45 or 50 are gonna have to transport 20 kids at a time, which is we're gonna have to add bus routes. I mean, something that's that doesn't make any difference whether you're doing A day, B day, or not. So there are a lot of things to consider, and we're already thinking about those things, but we'll start doing formal plans, if you will, beginning next week.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Superintendent. But I do encourage you to follow through with that planning, regardless of. But let me also put this in there. Unless something changes nationwide, social distancing is going to be a thing of the future.
Yes, sir, it is. Yes, sir.
And around it. Ain't no getting it. The CDC has said it. Every piece of data that comes in says that when people are away from each other, this virus is hard for it to transfer from person to person. But I can assure you that unless something comes up, social distancing is going to be a thing of the future. Even that, and all the things they've talked about, from the president's office to Atlanta to Raleigh, no one has said we need to get rid of social distancing. Now, some people are ignoring it. We know that. But we're talking about our kids now, and that's a different set of circumstances. But it's going to be around for a while. It's going to be around for a while.
Yes, sir.
And not only that, quickly, they're also saying there won't be mass lunch periods anymore. You heard that, I guess?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can't put them all in the lunchroom. You're going right back to the same situation. Guess where they're saying kids might have to end up eating now?
In the classroom.
In the classrooms. That is correct. In the classroom. So all of that stuff is out there, and some of it is going to become true. And that's why I'm so concerned about this time frame that we're looking at. And I'll shut up on that. But if we sit back and wait, we're gonna put something in place that was in a hurry, and we know is not going to. You're not going to get away from social distancing right now. I'm sorry, Ms. Porter.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Hall. I agree with you and with the statement Dr. Wright made concerning our number one priority is the health and safety of our students. And I've also heard about the days and some morning, some afternoon, or whatever. And I'm thinking that I heard Dr. Wright mention a small thing like getting them on the bus, positioning them there, but that small thing is what can lead to much larger things in the future. So I would say whether we hear from the state superintendent, it's time to start actually putting in place and thinking about. Dr. Wright, you mentioned with the health departments, that's a great idea because safety and health is number one. And it takes a lot of planning, and when we overlook those small details, that's when we may get some big surprises. So thanks for your insight into the future with meeting as soon as possible about those details. I also heard, Mr. Hall, some people were discussing about changing classes. Have you heard that?
Yes.
The movement of the students too. But
yes.
I thank you. Safety and health is number one.
I agree totally.
Mr. Hall, David Shields, one thing that you can mention to the state board, at the state board, is just, I don't think they can forget the cost that's going to be involved, because things like, if you run 2 sets of buses to get children home, it's going to, the fuel cost is going to be twice as much.
Correct.
Just saying there are little things like that I don't want people to overlook,
That's true. That's
going to cost us. And
you know, if you overlook the fuel, I mean, our fuel consumption's gonna double, possibly. And I'm just saying.
That's correct. That's correct.
With you being on the state board, and you, that'll certainly help us, plan for the future if we know that we got the financial backing from the state, to do it, because, you know, there's so much more to do in this. I mean, it's like adding another whole, it's like having 2 school districts and 1 school district, you know, and that's what we've got to think about. So anyway.
You are correct, Mr. Chairman. Everything you said. And what we have to keep in mind, for this upcoming school year, there's nothing normal about it.
That's exactly right.
Exactly right.
Nothing normal about it. We can't go on what we used to do, how we did it. And what I'm hearing from some of the experts that I read about, not from the state board, that this way of doing things might have to go on for 2 years. It's not a year, it might have to go on for 2 years before we can get this virus, truly under control. But let me say something about monies. I was on the phone last week with people in D.C. As a part of this stimulus money, the CARE Act they call it, there's $50 billion in there for education for each state. $50 billion for K-12 education nationwide. If you look at it, and if it's allocated out and it has to go to states, that's $1 billion per state. Now that money is yet to come, but it's in the stimulus package or the CARE, whatever they want to call it. But let's keep that in mind. But I would certainly share that with my fellow board members come Thursday. But there's a $50 billion sitting out there.
Mr. Chair, if I might, I want to add something here because I want to be clear about my superintendent's perspective. You know, we're not getting a lot of direction from the state superintendent's office and DPI. And I'm not just saying it's because Mr. Hall's on the state board, but we are getting the little bit of direction that we're getting is coming from the State Board of Education. So I do appreciate that. I mean, they are taking some stands that are helping us with regard to grading and whatever it is they've done. We're just not getting it from the other side of Raleigh. Let me say it that way.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll shut up.
There's additional employment. Dr. Lorraine.
Good afternoon, Chair Shears, Dr. Wright, members of the board. Today I have 16 additional employment requests for your approval.
I make a motion to approve the 16 requests by administration.
Ms. Porter made the motion that we accept the administration's recommendation.
Mr. Chair, James Sharon, I second that motion.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Porter?
Aye.
Dr. Sharon?
Aye.
Okay, and David Shields, aye. All those, motion carried. Dr. Longline?
Today I have annual and contingent contracts for your approval.
I'm Sheila Porter. I make a motion to approve the annual contract and the annual and what, Dr. Lane?
Contingent.
Requested by administration.
Mr. Chair, Dr. Sharon, I second that motion.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve annual and contingent contracts. All those in favor say aye. Dr. Sharon?
Aye.
Ms. Porter?
Aye.
Hall?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. 4.3, administrative contract.
Today I have one administrative contract for your approval.
Sheila Porter, I make a motion to approve the administrative contract recommended by administration.
Mr. Chairman, Wendell Hall, I second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the, contract, a 2-year contract for our assistant superintendent. All those in favor say aye. Dr. Sharon?
Aye.
Aye.
Ms. Porter?
Aye.
Okay. David Shields, aye. Okay, next week on the agenda is the longevity performance bonus, 4.4 for the superintendent.
Today, I have a longevity performance bonus for the superintendent effective July 1, 2020 for your approval.
Mr. Chair, Dr. Sharon, I make a motion that we make that approval, longevity bonus for our superintendent.
Sheila Porter, second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Porter?
Aye.
Dr. Sharon?
Aye.
It's unanimous. David Shields. Aye. Okay.
Thank you.
Next is 5.1 quality quarterly financial report.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I just got a text message. Mr. Deloach is saying that he needs to remind someone to unmute him for the meeting.
Mr. Shields,
Mr. Deloach, are you there?
I'm here now. I've been muted for the last, I don't know how long. I don't know what has happened. I tried
I'm
to
so
get
sorry.
on, but I couldn't get on. I was listening to all of the conversations, but I did text the superintendent and ask him to have someone to unmute me because I was not able to commute.
Okay, I'm sorry. You've been here in spirit more anyway. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Deloach, we have to do a roll call vote because we're doing this by Zoom, and so
Right. I heard that.
Decided to vote individually. Then financial report.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Dr. Wright, Chair Shields. You have before you the financial statements as of the 9 months ended March 31st. Are there any questions?
Okay.
You also have budget amendment number 9 for the state public school fund, an increase of $19,413 due to increases in allotment. And budget amendment number 10 for the federal grant fund, an overall decrease of $2,248 due to changes in allotment.
You hear the request coming from the administration for budget amendment number 9 and budget amendment number 10.
Sheila Porter, I make a motion to approve budget amendment number 9 and amendment number 10.
Mr. Chair, Dr. Sharon, I second that motion.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Mr. Deloach?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Porter?
Aye.
Dr. Sharon?
Aye.
David Shields? Yes. Okay. Budget transfers, Ms. Martin?
And also before you are the budget transfers that were approved by Dr. Wright.
Just for information only. Okay, 5.4, board policy.
Before you leave, Ms. Martin, I have a question for you, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes, sir.
Have you seen a PRC code for that $1,050,000 that Hereford County is to receive from the state monies?
We have planning allotments for that at this time. The chart of accounts is supposed to be released, I was thinking today or tomorrow. I haven't seen it.
Right.
And then the district will have to submit an application in order to have access to those funds.
That's right. It's $1,050,000.
I think it's been updated to $1,060,000 and some $100.
Oh, okay. Mr. Superintendent, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
What are the plans to utilize that $1 million?
Ms. Ward's going to talk about that.
Okay, Ms. Ward, what's the plan on utilizing that $1 million?
Well, it's not going to be just my plan. We have received the application, and we have begun to work on that application. As you probably are already aware, there are several areas where the money can be used.
Technology, child nutrition, yeah, no.
Yes, sir.
So what? Okay, all right. So we are developing a plan now to utilize the $1 million.
We are finalizing, yes, sir, because specific for each area that you decide that you want to spend the money for, a strategy and a timeline has to be provided for that. So we're in the process of, for the different areas, technology, just all mental health services, all of those, making sure that we've got strategies and timelines identified before we submit our application, which is
What's the deadline on that application?
June 1st.
June 1st.
Yes, sir.
And the state board approves those.
I'm not positive about that. I know they go in the CCID, and that a budget has to be provided in the back.
Right. It ultimately gets state board approval. That is correct. Yes.
Is that June 1st?
Yes, sir. That it has to be uploaded in the system.
Right. And this is May the 18th. Okay, doke. Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, you have before you a board policy revision. It's first reading on policy 2127, 2302, 4230, and 5050, and the rest of the 7503, 7560, and 7620. And because of the first reading, it's just for information only. For our review, we'll vote on it next meeting. Next is 6.1, Superintendent's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. A lot of wonderful things going on. As we all know, I'd like to inform the board and everyone listening that we have sent out some thank you letters and support letters or thank you letters for support to the following business: Food Line, who donated 1,000 grocery bags for lunches; Chowan University, who did thank you banners located at the middle and high school for the cafeteria workers that are working for us; the Emma Anderson Memorial Society, who donated masks to the cafeteria staff; and McDonald's of Murfreesboro that did some student coupons for us. Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week was held May 4th through 8th of 2020. That was a great success across the district. Superintendent took the opportunity to do a personal video thank you that was shared and well received. Hosky Elementary has provided teachers with the gift of time. There were no meetings for the week during Staff Appreciation Week. Each teacher was sent a personal thank you note in the mail from the principal. And on Teacher Appreciation Day, teachers were given a catered lunch that was a drive-through. C.S. Brown STEM PTSO provided gift cards, and Subway provided lunch on Friday. for teacher appreciation. Also, a student recognition, Caitlin Saunders, who is a C.S. Brown High School senior, received recognition of academic achievement and excellence. She was granted membership in the National Society of High School Scholars and is hereby awarded all rights, honors, and privileges thereunto appertaining. The membership is for meritorious scholastic achievement and the pursuit of excellence at C.S. Brown High School STEM. Early College High School dropped off breakfast to teachers' houses. During the week, they also did a video with quotes and memories from students. And there was lunch donated by a parent to all the teachers, and gift bags were donated by the PTSO and book bags from the Early College High School to the teachers. Irvine County High School staff received a gift and lunch during a drive-through pickup for Teacher Appreciation Week. And also the seniors received a sweet treat and were cheered as they picked up their cap and gowns during a drive-through cap and gown pickup on Friday, May 8th. Early College High School, Friday, May 8th, there were 88% of the graduates that graduated with either a certificate or associate's degree. The board has seen, hopefully, the video of those seniors and their degrees that were also received. Friday, May 15th, last Friday, the Early College High School held a parade to all graduating seniors' houses and distributed cords, diplomas, and yard signs between the hours of 3:30 p.m. and 7 p.m. They were encouraged to invite the family to watch them receive their cords and diploma. Early College High School also did 2 tribute videos to seniors. The first was just in memory of all the seniors, and the second was College Decision Day. Also at C.S. Brown High School STEM, additionally, congratulations goes to the following Skills USA North Carolina chapters for being selected to receive a chapter resource grant. Apex High School, Avery County High School, of course, our renowned C.S. Brown STEM High School, Graham High School, Richmond Community College, Roanoke Rapids High School, South Iredell High School. So as you can see, our students are competing in some pretty big company and being successful. This grant is generously provided by Lowe's with the intent to strengthen local Skills USA chapters and includes $1,000 worth of educational resources. Child Nutrition Department is still continuing to deliver grab-and-go meals. Those meals have increased to, the numbers are somewhere between 1,100 and 1,200 meals per day. And we also failed to mention this last time, we want to thank Golden Skillet for providing grab-and-go meals during spring break to give our employees a break. This grab-and-go process, according to the state student nutrition director, will be continuing and funded throughout the summer. And we are making plans to continue that feeding throughout the summer. From the Exceptional Children's Department, the EC department is continuing to remote instruction that is aligned to the IEP goals and providing assistance to students and parents as needed with assignments. Upcoming events, C.S. Brown High School STEM seniors. This is not graduation, but there is going to be a drive-by visit on Friday, May 22nd, commencing at 11 o'clock a.m. And there will be 15 senior baskets provided with gifts for them to take for the next level.
Dr. Wright, Sheila Porter, excuse me. Would you repeat that? Would you repeat that again?
So is that the C.S. Brown?
The senior.
Friday? Yes, ma'am. Okay. So there is a drive-by event. I needed to put the word event on there. It's a drive-by event. It will be this coming Friday, but it is not graduation. We're not talking about graduation. This is where they will be delivered senior baskets to the students individually, and that will be happening on Friday, May 22nd.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And then lastly, there are tentative graduation plans that is set is Friday, August the 7th of 2020, 6 p.m. And that is for C.S. Brown High School STEM on the campus. Out in the Rain site will be either the Cultural Arts Center or First Baptist Church. Speaking of graduation and those plans, we are working diligently to finalize those plans, including dates and so forth and so on. We'll be working hard on that beginning May 26th throughout. The staffs have already done some individual work, but we'll finalize those plans and get them out. And we're looking at several different kinds of options. Anything from outside football field graduations with, for instance, students around the track and coming up to the stage, receiving their diplomas with limited seat participation in the stands, to ceremonies where we have, say, in the gym, and we do it in sections where, you know, for the 185, 200 student high school class, we would graduate 25, 50 at a time with more participation, and then allow those students to leave a couple hours later, have the next graduation until we get everybody through. We're just looking at all kinds of situations to ensure that we make these moments as special as possible. As soon as we get things more finalized, we absolutely will transfer those to you. There is also, because some of our neighboring districts are doing drive-by and pick up, or the student gets out of the car, family remains in the car, student walks to the stage, and all of that. We're just trying to make sure that whatever we do, first of all, is as special as it can be for our students. And we also want to make sure that safety is first, and then that we do things that are logistically possible for our schools and so forth. And with the two smaller schools, of course, it's a little bit easier to do it. When we start talking about Hervey County High School, we just got to make sure that we have a process that works well for our families. And that's all I have for now, Mr. Chair, members of the board.
All right, thanks. Then we're going to have the state board comment by Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first thing in order is to, once again, the state board confirmed they were going to stay with the grading requirements for seniors that was passed, I think it was March the 17th. There was some concern about seniors needing to get a warning to have a numerical grade instead of a pass, fail, whatever that code is. But the state board decided to stay in the course and go by the grading scheme that was approved in March. The CARE funds I've already talked about a few minutes ago with the $50 billion. The Jump Start program, this was interesting that the data they received on Jump Start. There are some children from March 13th to the beginning of the school year, if we don't do something, certain groups of kids, there's a possibility of learning loss being up to 50% of what they learned prior to March 13th. We also understand that even though the mental condition of kids coming back in from being out of school for 4 months, teachers, do we have some teachers that's going to have some help as they reacclimate themselves to being in a classroom with 25 or 30 kids? Well, they have been out also. So we need not forget our teaching staff when it comes to those social, emotional things that just might occur.
I agree.
And that's important. And that is very important. Thank you, Mr. Porter. As you well know, I guess you have read about it, the state superintendent decided not to renew the assessment diagnostic contract for iStation, which is the tool that's used to assess students. At the present time, they're going through a new process of applications for those companies that want to do our K-3 assessments. And I want to close with something that we have not talked a lot about. And this is not the state board now. I'm putting on another hat, the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. I ask you, board members and everybody else, are we going to have football? Are we going to have football? It's drawing near. June 1, the North Carolina High School Athletic Association has rescinded the dead period effective June 1. And that's a period of time to where children can now be involved in organized types of activities, especially the football season. To answer your question, we don't know. But let me say this to my fellow board members. From everything that's been said thus far, there's one group that will make that final decision as to whether or not there'll be a fall sports group or sports program. In our case, it's Hertford County Board of Education. We will make the final decision regardless of what's said and done. So keep that in mind. Those helmets have to be examined for their safety, those shoulder pads. And we talk about football a lot because it is the revenue generating sport, or number one, in any school system. And that's important for us to realize that. And I'm not sure, and I'm just throwing this out there, as far as Hertford County is concerned, Mr. Chairman, board members, and superintendent, the Board of Education just might have to put some money into the athletic departments to fund it. Do we have a full 11-game season, or will it be a 5-game season? One just does not know. So keep that in mind, because that's going to be a big issue as we move forward with the athletic programs in Hertford County and all over the state. And yes, on Thursday, it has already been mentioned, at 10 o'clock, the State Board of Education will meet to discuss some other issues that's brought before, and one of them are dealing with the extension of licensures for 1 year for those teachers who, by no circumstance of their own, could not take the exam, the teaching exam. So we'll just see how all that plans out. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for listening to me, and we will have more at a later date. But school will open August the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Board comments, Ms. Porter?
Well, I guess this is 1 year that we will certainly say that community, parents, schools, businesses, everybody was all in for learning, because everybody has played such an important part of giving, of volunteering, and creating new ways and ideas of doing things. So at this time, I would just like to thank everyone. Won't call any names because I'm sure I would miss some, but I think you have done an excellent job, and really appreciate everything that has been done for our students in Hertford County. Thank you.
Mr. Deloach?
Thank you, Mr. Shields. First of all, I certainly want to thank our staff and to follow on what Ms. Porter said for all that they do. Number one, to stay safe. And for number two, providing the very best education possible that they can for our children. You know, as Ms. Porter said, you don't want to call out names, but, you know, our teachers, the custodians and bus drivers, cafeteria workers, everybody, central office, everybody does an excellent job. I think people are going beyond the call of duty to do those things that that they're doing at this time. I want to remind everyone to stay safe, but I also want to say I heard the comments from the superintendent and the board earlier about the start of the school. And our first responsibility, I think, is to recognize that we are responsible for making sure that schools are safe. And that's our ultimate goal. We don't make the decision when schools start. It's been suggested that schools start, as Mr. Hall said, August 17th, but we don't make that final decision. That's not our responsibility. Our responsibility is to make sure that whenever it is open, that we provide the most safest and best environment that we can for our children. That's what we have to do. So I would say that to our superintendent. I'm glad you said that you're going to start looking at a program, a plan. I can tell you that we have to have a plan because school will start at some point. There's no question about that. I think we have the time now. I think we have plenty of time now if we start now. As was suggested, if we wait later, we're going to put something together. It's not going to be the best plan. So I would suggest right now, with those things that's been discussed here at the board meeting, we've talked about classroom size. We've talked about buses and what to do with the buses, or some ideas anyway. Well, there's been some ideas about lunch, having to look at that, and whether we go to an A or B day. I think that those things, right now, we have the time to consider, to plan, and to analyze. If we don't do it now, I think we're going to get behind the ball, and we're going to have something that may not be the very best. So I would encourage the superintendent to bring all of those people together, all of your parties together, all of your business people, your stakeholders, and start thinking and analyzing and planning right now, because this is not an easy task. And we will have to work out some issues. There'll be some things that we don't know that we'll have to do, but now we know that we can start at least to plan. Thank you for allowing me to make those comments. And again, I said I heard most of the conversation, but I was not able to respond. But thank you so much, and everybody have a great day.
Thank you, Mr.
Mr. Deloach, Wendy Hall, well said.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Sharon.
Thank you, Mr. Shields. I'll be brief. You know, this coronavirus has literally turned the world upside down. And Dr. Wright is correct. Mr. Deloach is correct. All of you are correct. We got to look out for our children. Experts are telling us that this thing could get worse before it gets better. But still, like Mr. Deloach said, we do have to plan. Got to have a plan, because you plan to fail, you fail to plan. I want to thank everybody from the superintendent, the principals, the teachers, the food, staff people, bus drivers, everybody that's been working with Hertford County, the faith-based community, everybody. This has been a year, and it's been a turbulent year, but I think that we've done well. So I do want to say to everybody, stay safe and follow the governor's mandates, executive orders, and all the things that he's putting in place. Mr. Hall, you asked a question, what about football? Well, your guess is as good as ours. But we got to do whatever is right and safe for our children. And so, again, I want to thank everybody. Our graduates, this is going to be a difficult year for them. I listened to President Obama talking to graduates on the weekend, and it's going to be a challenging time, but I think we have prepared them for such a time as this. To all of our students and to all of the parents, everybody that's working, those folks that are trying to put together the hot spots so that our children can have access to the internet, those who are providing computers. I mean, it's been a roller coaster ride. But again, everybody, please stay safe, do social distancing, and we just got to do what we got to do. So thank you so much, Mr. Chair, for allowing me to make those comments. Do want to say that Dr. Wright, thank you for those pictures from the Hosky Elementary School. Progress is being made, and that's in spite of the coronavirus. That's something positive that we're seeing, and we're just thankful to see that. Thank you again, Mr. Shields, for allowing me to make these comments.
No comments, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
lastly, I'd like to thank all our staff once again, because I think that they have worked themselves to the bone, and I don't think people realize, I guess the whole world realizes how tough a Zoom meeting is, but it's a whole lot tougher than meeting in person, I think. And I think, our staff has continued to do professional development and have, and we might not have this distant learning thing whipped yet, but I guarantee you our staff has worked on it, and those packets are still going out, and I ask that the parents take these packets seriously and continue to help their students get through their packets. But our staff's done an outstanding job, and I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Reggie Langford and all his staff for what they've done to keep the internet up and going. And it's been interesting to watch how during a difficult time, how once again Hertford County Public School staff has stepped up to the plate and are taking on a tough situation and making it better, not only for themselves but for our students. It's always refreshing to see how innovative our staff is, how resourceful they are, and it really it's a real sign of dedication, not only from the superintendent down, but everybody that works for Hertford County Public Schools. It's really fun and exciting to see. With that being said, our next board meeting is June 22nd. So I'm not sure how we'll have a meeting, whether it'll be Zoom or not, but I do want you to pay attention or from the information coming from Central Office as far as graduation is concerned. We're going to do something exciting and something great and something that these our 2020 graduates will be remembered forever. They'll be the only class. Wonderful. They'll be the only class that has the most unique graduation of any class out there. And so, I mean, I know they're disappointed, but think how great it's going to be 20 years down the road or 30 years down the road when they're talking about 2020. Let me tell you about our graduation. And it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a great time. So keep your eyes open, because Hertford County Public Schools, once again, we're gonna do the 2020 graduation like it's supposed to be done. So with that being said, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to Sheila Porter. I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Willie Hall, second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Deloach?
Aye.
Dr. Sharon?
Aye.
Ms. Porter?
Aye.
David Shields, yes. Thank y'all all for coming, and thanks for the effort.